Hey guys, Tim here with Two Feather Survival. Hope everybody's having a good day today. Came out here in my backyard, got a beautiful sunny day today, and realized that I've got a huge patch of a wild edible known as chickweed. Hey gang, before we look at today's wild edible, I gotta get all the legalese stuff out of the way. Warning, going out and finding wild edible plants could be hazardous to your health. You could mess up. You could find a poisonous plant. If you ingest said poisonous plant, you are at your own mercy at that point. So be careful what you're looking for. Consult what we like to call an expert. Consult at least 3 field guides if you don't have an expert in the area to consult on. Is this exactly the plant that I'm looking for? Go for the easy to find ones, and also go for the ones that don't have any poisonous lookalikes. That'll typically keep you safe. Alright, enough of the lawyer stuff. Okay guys, so wild edibles, they're all around. There's many that you probably already recognize very readily, things like cattails. Everybody knows what plant that is because of the what everybody calls is the big brown hot dog looking thing at the top, and that's a great plant and it's very easily identified. If you're going to start practicing and learning more about wild edibles, things like chickweed, cattails, whatever the case is, don't go out and look to find as many as you can in a given day. Pick one, chickweed. Learn what the identifiers are for it. Find out how it is that you identify the plant. 2, make sure that there isn't any poisonous lookalikes to the plant. If there is and they're hard to identify and there's a poison lookalike that is something that can cause you great bodily harm, I would say stay away from that plant. There's many more out of the wild edibles that are easily identified, like chickweed, and it is something that I can use to sustain myself in a wilderness environment or add to foods that I already have, or if I'm looking to change a diet and get away from all of the GMO foods that are out on our shelves today in our grocery stores. Here's a great option. It's free, grows in my backyard, don't have to do anything with it, and like most wild foods, it's hard to get rid of them, i.e. weeds. Everybody's trying to get rid of the weeds in their gardens, weeds in their yards. Well, good portion of those weeds, the so-called weeds that people talk about, are actually a wild food. Chickweed's one of them. Now, I'll give you a closer look on this here in just a few minutes, but we'll talk about some of the chickweed identifiers. One of the things that we're going to be looking at is the stem of the plant. There is a one row of hairs, kind of looks like a mohawk, that grows up one side of the plant. Doesn't grow on both sides. When you get to the next node, or where the next branch is, where the plant changes, that hair usually alternates to a different side. So that's a great easy identifier. The flowers, when they're in flowering season, and chickweed grows pretty much, depending on the location, all year round, and you can find entire hillsides covered with this stuff. The white flowers are actually a small white flower. It looks like there's 10 individual petals. There is not. There's actually a deeply cleft petal, which has 2 clefts to the V, so there's really only 5 petals within that flower. So not to be confused with anything else. There's only one, I guess you could say, a look-alike that is somewhat poisonous that could make you ill, and you're probably not going to want to eat a lot of it anyways, and that's red scarlet primrose. That has a orangey reddish color flower, so it looks entirely different. So let's take a closer look at chickweed and find out some of the other identifiers. Cool thing about chickweed, tastes just like corn on the cob. It's amazing stuff. You need to get out in your backyard and find this stuff. It's good stuff. 2 thumbs up. Okay gang, so chickweed can fairly easily be identified. It has a couple of very distinguishable identifiers to the plant. The first and foremost is the flower. Try to get a good shot there of the flower. It looks like there's 10 individual petals to the flower. There's not. There's actually 5 if you really count them close. Each one of the petals is fairly deeply cleft. It's a white in color flower. The other identifier that you want to look for, try to get that into view here, along the stem, you'll see one row of hair. You can see it right there. This one row of hair alternates between the segments of the plant. So it will be only along one side, and then as you get up further along the plant, it will change sides that it's on, and up in here you can see a little bit more where it changes the direction and pattern, but still it's only one row. The leaves are kind of spear in shape. Get a good view of that there. The leaves are basically a spear point in shape. They're not jagged or anything, and they're a lighter green on the underside. So again, it's a very easily identified plant. The other thing that's kind of a cool trick you can do with chickweed that's also a very good identifier, if I break this and I do this slow, of course it's not going to cooperate because we're on camera. Here we go. If I break this and do this fairly slow, you'll see that it's got an inside kind of vein that has come out here. And that is another very classic indication of the fact that you do have chickweed. So what I've got here is a kind of a whole carpet of chickweed. It usually grows in and amongst other wild edibles, but just focusing on chickweed today, so I'm not going to talk about some of the other things that are here in this immediate patch. But as you can see, you can harvest this stuff just by the handfuls. And like I was mentioning, this is a blood detoxifier. It is a wild edible. It tastes a lot like corn on the cob, basically. So you can boil this, you can eat it raw in a salad, I can add it to other wild greens that I find. But the other thing I can do with this is put this in a low temperature oven, about 200 degrees for about 2 hours. Mix it in with some pure olive oil. The better the strain, the better it will be. And this is actually great for treatment of different rashes, eczema type situations of the skin. It is an anti-inflammatory, so there's many things that you can do with this. So not only is it a wild edible plant that can provide nourishment, and it has a lot of vitamins to it, but it also is a medicinal plant with detoxification of the blood, the kidneys, the liver. It also acts as a anti-inflammatory. So if I'm got a rash or swollen joints, anything like that, and I'm out in the wilds, I can simply grab hold of a handful of some chickweed and utilize that as a medicinal tea or infusion or any other type of thing that I want to treat a specific area. Alright guys, well that was just a quick look today at chickweed. I hope that you've learned something about chickweed and that you can go out and identify it. Like I had said, consult some field guides. Learn to properly identify any plant that you're going to go out and find. This is a fairly easy one. Make sure there's nothing else growing amongst it that you're not sure of. Make sure you're getting just the plant that you're looking to consume. So, again, this is chickweed. Easily identified. Very easy to find, grows all over the world, and it grows throughout most climates and throughout most of the year as well. So, chickweed, go out, find it, identify it, make sure that you properly identify it, and happy trails and happy eating, gang.